The most important part to a successful clothing line is having a good website. In this video, I'm gonna give you the top 10 must-haves for your website. What's up, everybody? My name is Michael. I am the owner of ECG Graphics and Printing. My print shop is located in Southern California. Now, with me being a print shop owner, you can only imagine the many different types of clothing lines that come through my doors every single day. And there has been so many different things through the years that I have seen that have allowed for some of these clothing lines to be more successful than others. And what I want to do is I want to share that information with you. If that's something that you're interested in, please consider subscribing to my channel. You can do that by hitting that subscribe button, also banging on the notification. As a clothing line, getting someone to your website is the hardest thing. But once you get them there, you don't want your website to be so bad that people are cringing and leaving. The conversion rate of your website should be your number one goal as a clothing line owner. You need to put your website in the best position to be able to convert those people. If your checkout is hard, you want to fix that. If your products are hard to customize, you want to fix that. If you have a website that has too many things going on and people just leave because they can't navigate it, you want to fix that. The first mistake is having too many fonts. I suggest having 2 to 3 at max fonts on your website. So sit down with your graphic designer, sit down with your team and say, hey, what are the 3 fonts that we want to have for our clothing line, period? When you have too many fonts, oftentimes what it does is it hurts the tone of your website. It messes with the continuity of your website. You'll be able to preserve, that very simplistic and cohesive vibe that you're going for on your website. The next is going to be font size. Having just 2 to 3 font sizes on your entire website works well. I apologize. Like I said, I am in my shop, so this is not no fake backdrop. So I have cars and trucks and all these things. I'm literally right by the boulevard. So pretty busy street where my shop is located. So I apologize for the background noise. Next is going to be color scheme. This is also something that you can get from your graphic designer. If you don't have one, hit your boy up. I can help you with that. But color theory is very important in the emotions that you are invoking in your customer experience or just your PTMs. So sitting down beforehand, knowing what your color schemes are, I say typically choose about 3 to 5 colors that are in your brand kit or your brand identity kit. Having at least 3 to 5, then that allow for you when you are going on your website just to pick maybe 2 to 3 of those so that you can incorporate them all within your website, and visually it's appealing to customers and it's aligned with your overall brand identity. Next is going to be clarity before beauty. Websites that have the highest conversion rate are the ones that are simple. I'll give you an example. I just went on Made, right? Made is one of the manufacturer blanks that I go through because I have some brands that I work with that exclusively work with the Made brand. But I went on their website a couple months ago. Their website was really simple, really easy. I was able to check out. Now I'll go on their website and it's like, before I can even get to the products, there's like 5 or 6 different videos. It's just weird, man, the way that they did it. You got to kind of think about it from that first time customer. How are they going to be able to come in and consume your website without being overwhelmed? Mobile over desktop. How do you think people are consuming and getting to your website? 9 times out of 10, they're going straight from, if you're running social media ads, or they're going from Instagram or TikTok straight into your store. They're consuming that on their phone. Make sure your buttons are the right size, your call to actions are the right colors. Make sure your text fits on the screen. You don't want it to be too big to where you can't see it. Make sure that you're conscious of the user experience from someone that's viewing it on their desktop and on their mobile device. Next is going to be high quality product pictures. You don't really have to have an expensive camera to get these shots. You can take lifestyle shots, you can take product shots with your cell phone. You want to get certain angles where you can get the fibers of the actual garment, or you can get the look. Like if you have puff paint, get that angle to where you can see how it's puffing. If you have embroidery, maybe you can get an angle with a light where you can see how the light is glistening off of the embroidery. Let me know down below if you guys want me to, I have a few photographers that I know that do product shop. I can get some tips for you guys for DIY. So just let me know down in the comments below if you guys want me to do a video on that. Detailed descriptions. A lot of you guys don't know this, but when you're talking about SEO, when you have a high quality detailed prescription, when you have a high quality detailed description of a product, what that does is that gives metadata to that product and it attaches it to that product so that it's now searchable on the internet. When you have keywords in your product description, so let's say high quality fleece, streetwear, these different things, like all of those keywords that you want to show up and be relevant for on the internet searches for people that are looking for products that you offer. When you have a detailed and quality description on those products, what that does is it allows for your products to be searchable on their own. Somebody might search for something of one of those keywords that are in your description, and then it takes them directly to that page, and then obviously that page is a part of your website. So that's a way for you to build up that SEO so that you can start to pop up in these searches. If you do it right, you can even pop up in just image searches, or even like shop, you can pop up there as well. Sorry, don't want to interrupt, but I have to do this shameless plug. But this is my book, The Clothing Brand Blueprint. If you are serious and you're trying to grow your clothing line into a brand, you got to get this. You got to cop this. This is literally going to be the principles to growing a clothing line. I have case studies and all types of things in this book that actually help you. It's a step-by-step guide. You can write in it, all of that. Something that you want, please pre-order it down in the description. But let's get back to the video. Infusing social proof. So it's kind of a balance. So I've seen it many different ways. I've seen people actually take social proof pictures and put those in the pictures of the actual individual products. But I've also seen it where, on the website, they have these social proof pictures from maybe influencers, or like they have group shots of people wearing the product like throughout the website. So it adds to like the ambiance and makes your website look cool, because now you're showing your products on multiple people. Now the suggestion that I say is you can do just single shots of just one person, and you can have them professionally done with the white background and that it looks really clean. But I think having it out in the environment in which your clothing line is set up for, like the lifestyle that you want your clothing line to be a part of, if you can have shots of multiple people in that area, that will help you a lot more than you just having like a single shot of somebody in like a sterile white background kind of a thing. Like save that type of imagery for your actual quality product shots, but not for like the social proof side. Like you want pictures and stuff all over your website of like people actually wearing it and out and about, kind of a thing. Last but not least is going to be your terms and conditions. This saves you a lot of time and a lot of headache and a lot of money when it comes to you actually being able to get ahead of things that happen in your clothing line that are not expected. Well, the thing about terms and agreements is you're actually anticipating those discrepancies. Okay, so for example, your return policy, that's something that you should have. I get it. You believe that you put all your heart and soul into your products, and then by the time your customer gets them, you're hoping, that's what you expect, that they're gonna love it, they're gonna like the sizes, the cut, all that. But what if someone doesn't? Like, what is your return policy? Cool thing about it, AI is a big thing. It's an amazing tool that you can have. When we're talking about, coming up with your terms and agreements, you can use AI to generate that for you, and then also for your descriptions, you can also use that as well. The one thing that I can't say about AI with descriptions is sometimes it's a little bit generic. So just make sure your prompts are good, and you would want to go in and like add more, about, the quality of the actual garment and things like that. And, you can simplify, but you can use AI as like maybe like a template, and then you can start plugging in certain things like that. So I appreciate you guys. I need a favor from you. If you can please like this video, that will allow for this content to get pushed through the algorithm and have more people like you that are searching for content like this. It'll help get it to them.